We're recording.
All right. Well, hi, Pam.
Hi, Mike.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
We talked on the phone, and glad you agreed to meet with us.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
All right. Well, oh, God. I just drew a blank. Can we start over, or do I keep going?
Keep going.
All right. Oh God. All right.
You're fine. Keep going.
Well, let me first start off again by thanking you, and let me try to set the tone of today's meeting.
Okay.
Not out here. You can take a deep breath. We're not out here to for any sales pitches, products, or budgets right off the bat. That would be a total waste of our time to just come out here and start throwing out stuff without having a clear understanding of your needs.
Okay.
So today is more about us having an open discussion where we can find one or two areas of priority for you or key marketing challenges that you can use our expertise to in solving. So
Okay.
how does that sound for you?
Sounds pretty. That sounds pretty good.
All right. Well, I was coming in and I noticed you're a member of the HBA.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
here's another group that you might be interested in. It's the Remodelers Council. And it's a subchapter, a council group of the HBA.
Mhm.
We meet once a quarter, and it gives you an opportunity to go in and mingle and network with other industry peers
Right.
and learn valuable information, best practices on how to help your business grow. So it's a great networking opportunity for you.
I'll have to mention that to Mike and see if he's participated in it. I know I've not been to that one, but I'll have to see if he's been.
All right.
That's
All right.
great. Thanks for the information.
And I'll send you a link too, so you can get more information on
Oh,
that.
that
as
would be
well.
great. Thank you.
All right. Well, I know your time is money, so let's get right to it.
Okay.
In preparation for our meeting, I did a little research,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to share with you. Found out there's 1.2 million people that used a home service company in the past 12 months.
Wow.
So that's a lot of people. And just thinking about it, with the recent good news about the real estate industry here, it was a matter of fact, it was an article that we published a week or so ago talking about the Atlanta market rebounding.
Yeah, I saw that.
So-
That's exciting for us. Although, we don't do, we really don't do a whole lot when it comes to new builds. So that's where I was kind of reading that from that article, that it seemed like that there's more of a resurgence in new built houses, and but we don't get a lot of that kind of business.
And how I took my take on it for you is with the market improvement, home values are going up. So those people who put off those home improvement projects previously are probably now going to start looking for companies to perform those projects, whether it's getting a house ready to sell or you're just going to live in it. So. It could be a good opportunity for you.
You could look at it this way. This is some really good information, but when I look at it, there's a couple things, like we don't do a lot of this stuff. I mean, you could probably put us in the handyman services. We don't, we don't do heating and air, we don't do pests, we don't do lawn, we don't do trees, we don't do carpet, plumbing, security. We've done a little electrician. We really kind of like to stay away from that because there's a whole lot more liability that's tied up, long-term liability that's tied up with that. Painting companies, so that's a good number there because we do definitely painting. I don't even know that I would put us in general contractor because it's more of the remodeling kind of stuff. So. There's a couple of things on here that we do, but a majority of this that we don't do, and that's one of the reasons why I'm very particular about what it is that we do in advertising, and why I focus on some of the smaller things that I do rather than something big. And that's one thing that concerns me is with the Atlanta Journal being so big and it's so metro news, I find most of the people that we're dealing with, if they're reading a newspaper, it's local newspaper.
Well, we certainly have, I've worked with other companies just like yourself, and we have various options where we can zero in on that particular customer. So with you saying that when you mentioned you wanted to focus more on a local aspect, tell me, what did your customers look like?
Well, our customer is really, we find a lot of our customers are definitely dual income families. So it's people that want to do something but don't necessarily have the time, but they do have money to spend because they are that dual income family. It's they've got a little bit of a higher household income. Mostly, like I said, we're doing more renovation, so it's older homes that we get a lot of work with.
And going back to just the zeroing in or more targeted or local, on your site, you're located in Marietta, but you service Metro Atlanta. So where's the bulk of your business coming from?
Most of our business is coming from pretty much I-20 north, but we really don't go, definitely very, very little. It's got to be a pretty big job for us to go south of I-20. But we do have some pockets in Roswell, and because we do a lot with restoration, not just home remodel, but it's restoration. So some of the areas where you see some of the older subdivisions, like the downtown, the Marietta area and Roswell, we have done some in Smyrna and Vinings, as well as in the Buckhead area. So it's really more that, the northern arc, but for the right price, we'll go pretty much anywhere.
What's their average job in those areas?
Well, it depends on what they're wanting to have done. If it's just a painting job, we consider a quality painting job one that's going to be about $10,000. Okay, which is definitely going to be more than one room. It's going to could be interior and exterior. But that's one area that we really try to focus on is the larger revenue from
the painting. What about you do commercial as well? So
commercial is really still fairly new for us. It's something that we're really looking at trying to grow. But the commercial is much more. You see values for jobs much more in the because it's smaller commercial, so it's in the $50,000 to $100,000 range. So we're not going to go out and do a like a post properties kind of thing. It's more somebody who owns a small strip center or something like that. So
your residential is your bread and butter right now.
Residential is what the business was built on, not necessarily where we're going to see the most growth from.
So where do you see the most growth coming from?
We're really trying to focus on growing our commercial business because even though it's a little bit smaller amount of business, we can do fewer jobs for more money there, so we actually get a better return on our investment for commercial jobs. But we are trying to continue to grow our home improvement business. Mike's really grown the business. It's been a lot of word of mouth, but he's got such a good reputation now, and things are starting to turn around that he's really poised to grow this market, to grow this business significantly in the next couple of years.
So Mike is that a relative or is that
it's my brother?
Your brother, okay.
Yeah, my brother.
All right. And how long have you been here?
He actually just brought me on earlier this year, just because things were growing so much, and he started realizing that he couldn't be out selling and promoting, and because he prides himself on having that personal touch. I mean, almost every single job that he does, at some point or another, he will be on site with that, and we'll meet with either the homeowners or the landlord. And he just started to realize what things is growing is the way they were, that he could no longer keep up with the office work and the advertising and all that and do that part. And that's where he specializes in. I've been in marketing for years, so it just made sense.
Gotcha. And keeping with that theme, how with all the competition that's out here, and you guys being a small local company, what's your value proposition to your customer, to that customer that you're targeting?
It's the personal touch. Mike is actually a engineer by trade.
Okay.
And he was in the consulting business for years. That's kind of how he got into this, is when the bottom fell out of it. You know, he realized that he wanted to go do something on his own. And he's really, this is something that he's always been good at. But what he brings his experience of that consulting in when he meets with somebody. So it's not just that, we come in and we slap up paint, and we do a good job of slapping up paint. He sits down and does a full consultation with you. What is it that you're looking for? Do you have ideas, or do you need me to bring ideas? It's particularly when you get into doing some of the restoration, then he brings that big personal touch. And I think that's one of the things that really makes us stand out from some of our competitors. And we are licensed, we're bonded. You will know who's coming to your house and when they're coming to your house, and you'll know before they show up. You'll know every single crewman. You will have already met them, or you will receive information, a dossier on them, so you know exactly who is coming to your house.
Gotcha. So it sounds like just great customer service.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's customer service, and it's making it about them.
Right. And I noticed on your website you had a spot for referrals.
Mm-hmm.
And how much is that? How big is that part of your business?
It's actually pretty big. That's one of the things that we've really been able to grow with is, we do such a good job for somebody that, they tell their neighbor when they're looking for somebody to paint. And so we actually get some pretty good, and we've actually got some very good reviews on Kudzu.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It's always good.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about how you're reaching your clients now, your customers now.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've mentioned our website several times.
Right.
We definitely have our website that is used a good bit for educational. We are, I mentioned that we like to do, we do very much local, and that's where I find people are reading more locally. So we do the Marietta Daily Journal.
Okay.
We also will do quarterly, we do something in Valpak. We've got one billboard up right now. It's a billboard campaign. It's not just one billboard. That would not really make a lot of sense if we just had one, but it's one billboard campaign that moves around in our designated area. And then, of course, SEM, SEO, and a little bit of social.
All right. You mentioned your designated area. Let's go back to that.
Mm-hmm.
Where now? Help me understand where this is.
It's
if you service Metro Atlanta and inside the 285.
Well, it's really if you look at a map and you see kind of where 20 comes across through there, it's really north of 20 is where we can. If you get way far over in South DeKalb and then we've got to be looking at the amount of money that we're going to be making off of it. We're not going to drive all the way over there to do a $2,000-$3,000 job.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a $50,000 job, then yeah, we'll drive over there to do it. But what we find is it's pockets in certain areas. So we don't necessarily saturate all that market, but where we see the most of our business is going to be if you look at Buckhead here, and then you were to kind of draw a triangle around it, so up to Alpharetta, down to Smyrna, that kind of northwest triangle is where we get a majority of our business. But we definitely will go pretty much anywhere.
All right. So how are those marketing strategies working for you now? I know you said you did Valpak. What are you doing in there specifically? We
usually do once a quarter. We'll do last time it was a special that I really should know this because I need to be working on it for this coming quarter. It was a special that was I think it was 3 rooms get 1 room free kind of special. You know, when we do Valpak, we got to definitely put some kind of promotion, big time promotion in it to get the attraction, and that's why we only do it once a quarter.
Okay.
But we usually pick up 3 or 4 jobs from it every time we do it. So the other thing that we do, I see that you've got one of our flyers.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we do a lot of home shows. So like we do the one with Simcoe twice a year. We do a couple of other small shows that are around the market. So we do very well with our home shows.
Okay.
I don't even, I didn't mention that when you asked me about advertising, because I don't really consider that. I don't consider that coming out of the advertising budget. That's a totally separate budget.
Well, I was on your site. I took a couple of screenshots of it, and where I know you mentioned your offers in the Valpak flyer. So, can you tell me a little bit about the strategy behind that? Why you don't have any of the offers up on your website currently?
We really don't like to sell based on offer. We sell more on value. What you're getting for us, not that you're going to get something cheap. So we don't really like to do a lot of promotions. That's why we only do Valpak once a quarter.
Okay.
And you'll notice too on our website that it's very focused on getting to know us, seeing the pictures of the quality work that we've done before, talks about our certifications, and so it's very educational, and it's just a way to help you get to know us.
All right, do you want your customers, are they calling in more, or do you want them to visit your site? How are you driving, what do you want your customers to do? How are they finding it? Are they calling you to set appointments, or do you want to drive the traffic to your site where they can either click to call, not click to call, but click to set up an appointment?
Yes, they can click to set up an appointment on the website. It's probably pretty close. I'd say probably about 60% of our business is phone calls. The other 40% come from somebody going online and filling out the request for a quote.
Right. Okay, gotcha. So what does success looks like for your company? Because I know every company has goals. So what does success look like for you?
Success is going to look for. We actually have success divided up in a couple of little buckets. So, we're really looking to increase our home improvement side of the business by about 35% this year. Which I know sounds pretty big, but we actually had a small base to start with, so it's not quite that big. 35% sounds like a pretty big number. We're also kind of focused on our commercial business. So we're looking for about a 15% increase there. But again, I'm just really concerned about using the Atlanta Journal-Constitution because it is such a massive, broad reach, and y'all are even taking away the website. It's going to, the only way you're going to be able to see the website now, it's going to be all paid. And so I'm really concerned about that.
No, we're not. Yeah. That's the big misconception that's out in the marketplace right now. We're not doing away with AJC.com. The My AJC is going to be for paid subscribers. It's almost like you want to run down and grab what you want. You have to figure out what it is that you want. Do you want breaking news, updates throughout the day? Then you still have AJC.com.
Okay.
You want more in-depth reporting, stories, special stories done through our editorial department. It's more like going down to your store and getting a Sunday paper. You want to read the paper. You just have to decide on what it is that you're looking for. So it's not, the AJC.com isn't going away. It's still there for the audiences who want just the updates, breaking news. A lot of people don't want to go that much into detail with the stories. On My AJC, it just gives you a more in-depth coverage for our subscribers. So if you subscribe, it's free of charge. It's part of the package.
Yeah, but But I still don't see how that's gonna be a lot of people, because your subscription is, I mean, from what I understand, y'all's subscriptions are like half of what they were 2 years ago.
Well, you have to think about it. What we've all went through changes. Various mediums, whether it's radio, magazine, TV, broadcast, everything have gone through changes. What we did is focus more on the journalism side of it, and to be honest, most of our starts are increasing versus our stops. So we have more people who want to continue to read the news, because people, you have to think about, how do you consume your news? Do you read it on the web? They haven't stopped reading the news or haven't stopped consuming the news. There are just different avenues out there for you to get your news, whether it's on your mobile device, whether it's on laptops at home, or whether you just want like my mom, she still wants to read the paper every Sunday. So it's just different ways that you can consume the news now. So we're not going out of business. We're still here. We've been here. The paper is tried and true as far as our audience. We have such a large on a Sunday we can reach 1.1 million adult readers. So that's still a huge number, and that's more than any other medium or any other smaller magazine or a neighborhood newspaper that could. So our reach, we have to reach the affluent audience and the people who are able to buy your products and services.
Yeah, we don't need to reach 1.1 million.
Right, and we have different ways where we can zero in on that.
Okay. Okay. All right.
All right, so tell me, we covered your marketing strategies. What customers do you want to target?
We really are looking to increase our quality painting jobs. So, those that are 10,000 plus, that's definitely something that we want to go after.
Okay. So how
probably where you're going to see that is going to be more in the restoration phase and full house versus 1 or 2 rooms.
Now tell me, what areas of your company can you improve now? What are some of the areas that you want to focus on, like short term, right now? What is it that Pam, that Mike's telling you, Pam, we got to get more of this, we need to do this? What are can you give me a couple of those areas?
We actually have 3 very specific things that we're going after. So we've set a goal for the last half of the year that we want to increase the quality painting jobs by 5 per quarter.
Okay.
That we want to grow the home improvement side of the business 35%. And we want to grow the commercial business by 15.
All right, so those are the 3 short term. Your short term.
Well, those are our 3 for
immediate.
2013. Those
Okay.
are our key goals that we're going after for 2013.
Okay. And tell me, you might have mentioned it, I was writing, the commercial side of it. How are you targeting those commercial prospects?
We do a lot of the commercial through some of our shows. So not only do we do home shows, but we also do like builder shows and that kind of thing. But yeah, that's something that I'm looking for ways to, still trying to find ways, because that's a newer side of the business for us.
Okay.
But right now, most of it is through like trade shows.
So out of all of your marketing strategies, what's working the best for you?
Probably would have to say that it is what we're doing with the, so it would be 2 things. It would be what we're doing with the MDJ and our search.
And with the Marietta Daily Journal, you're doing with What type of ads are they?
We're actually doing just some display ads, and we spend about $5,000 a month with them. They kind of do, it's kind of a split between about our content, and then they have, it's like a little ask the experts kind of thing. That they'll send questions over for Mike to answer.
And with the search, how's that going for you?
It's going pretty good. I mean, it does take a good bit of my time because I actually do the search.
Okay.
So.
Now we do have a search team that can come in, and I know you have plenty of hats just like Mike does, and so we do have a search team that can come in and take care of those needs as well. We have a devoted team that can come in, run your website, your keywords, and run the complete strategy for you.
Yeah, but you're going to charge me a lot of money to do that.
Well, it all depends. You know, I've worked with different companies. Like I said, my experience, I've been doing this for 14 years, and we work with companies of all budgets, and we're able to provide solutions for them. So,
I might be interested in looking at something like that, but you know, I'm real leery about spending any of my advertising budget to be like service fees or anything like that. So if it's something that I can do, so.
Right, but just know that it can free you up to do other things, like going out to those home shows and meeting with your clients or whatnot. So, all right, I know we're short on time here. So we got. Let me just recap. I guess the three immediate things that you have for 2013 is to grow the home improvement side 35%. You grow your commercial business by 15%. And for the last half of the year, 5 per quarter. Can you explain that one more time for me?
Yeah, it's our quality painting jobs, you know, the ones that I said were 10,000 plus.
Right.
We want to get an additional 5 of those per quarter on top of what we already do.
All right, I think I'm running out of time, so well, I think I have a couple of assignments I can go back and work on for you. Focus on those 3 goals, and to how does next week sound for me to come back out and walk you through some of the recommendations?
I actually am taking a little bit of time off early next week, so maybe Tuesday of next week. Could you have something about Tuesday?
Tuesday, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock will work great.
All right, Pam, I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you next week, and you have my contact information,
I do.
so if you have any other thoughts that come up between now and then, just let me know.
All right, thanks.
You got very
Hey, Pam, how you doing today?
Good, Mike. How are you?
All right, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
How is everything? Anything come up between now and last week?
No, just moving right along.
Right.
Doing
How
business.
did the storms affect you over the weekend? I know we got some inclement weather.
We did get some inclement weather. We actually did get some calls.
Okay. Okay.
Some of it is stuff that we can't do.
Okay.
You know, we had some roofing calls, and we don't do roofing calls, but we have some contractors or some other businesses that we highly recommend.
Okay.
So we were able to send some business that way.
All right.
But I think Mike actually has a pretty big call today to follow up from where somebody had some flooding, and
Okay.
so he's got to repaint a lot of stuff for them.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, today I took some time from took the notes I took last week
Okay.
from the meeting, and I prepared a strategy for you. So today, what we're going to do is walk through that strategy.
Okay.
Together, and hopefully it won't be my goal is there's no surprises in there. You're gonna see information that's familiar, hear things that's familiar from our conversation, so that'll help get the ball rolling.
Okay.
All right.
All right. right.
So without further ado, I did a little
Oh, great.
mock presentation for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can flip through get my pen, the first page. And
Okay.
that's, the first page is just, I wanted to include that. That's just telling you who we are, Cox Enterprises, just to let you know that, hey, we're not, the newspaper isn't going anywhere. As you can see, we have assets in radio, TV, cable. We have other digital solutions, auto trade and Manheim. So these are all the companies under our parent company, Cox Enterprises. So,
Okay.
so
All
you can
right.
get all of this through one point of contact, yours truly, and then flip to the next page.
Okay.
And then, and since the landscape of digital just changes so often, I thought it would be neat to include this slide in here, and it shows you some of our capabilities and products. And as you look down, you can see the SEO and the search. And I know you're doing a good job with that, but let me reiterate that we have a team devoted solely to search and the SEO, and that's all they do, and they do a good job of it. And I believe our management fee is like is one of the lowest around. It's 25%. We're 100%
Okay.
transparent. So anytime that, I know you're doing a good job with it, but if you want to, Mike wants you to move into other areas of the company and start focusing on that, we can surely take care of that for you.
Okay.
All right. Got any questions about that or anything?
I might want to hear a little bit about this retargeting.
Retargeting? Okay.
Mhm.
Do you want to do
Yep.
it now or just?
Now let's just see what you've got,
Okay.
and then we might, if we've got time, we might circle back to
Right.
that.
Retargeting. Okay. Sure thing. All right. Go to the next page. So this is Mike's painting and home improvement advertising needs. Hey, what you really need is, or what you're looking for is to build a partnership with a media company invested in your business, help you dig deeper, build a local media strategy to achieve those various goals that you have, execute a strategy to target home improvement prospects in strategic areas, help develop effective, creative, optimized digital campaigns. And why would somebody choose Mike's Painting and Home Improvement? Hey, that personal touch like we talked about last week. Mike's good with the clients, experienced consultant, and great customer service overall.
Okay.
All right, next page, we're looking at the key marketing challenge or goals, increase business in key areas for 2013, add 5 quality painting jobs per quarter, grow your home improvement business by 35%, and then with the commercial side, which is a fairly new venture, we want to increase that by 15%. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, it does.
All right.
Very familiar.
All right.
Very good.
And so what you'll get with us, how we'll support your goals, or how I'll support your goals in AJC. You get an extensive experience support team. Like I said, I have over 14 years of marketing experience with the AJC. The ability to leverage our marketing resources, that's any research that that we might use to help you plan a strategy around a certain goal of yours of the company's.
Okay.
Turnkey execution, campaign optimization, and we can also design your creative for you to reach your
Oh,
target
okay.
profile.
All right. What's the fee for designing a creative?
That's free of charge.
Oh.
You get all of that. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
All right. Any questions?
Nope,
All right.
not yet.
So how we'll connect you to your market is the big thing. And I left this slide in here specifically because I know you had a little concern, or you brought up a question last week about, hey, I know the AJC circulation is decreasing. But as you can see here, we still deliver a powerful audience, reach more Atlanta adults than any other medium in the market. So what we're going to do, what this means for you, we're going to take this big audience, so to speak,
Right.
and focus in on those specific areas that means the most to your business. So that's how we're going to do it.
And you can actually do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
And are you going to show me how
Yes,
you
ma'am.
can do that?
I'm going to
Okay.
show you.
Okay.
And there's next page is just a quick snapshot of the
Okay.
demographics.
Yeah, I'm not really as concerned about the overall as I
Mhm.
am how you're going to reach those specific areas.
Gotcha.
that
All
I
right. So turn to the next page, and here are
Okay.
your recommendations. And we're going to start off with the AJC.com, and I specifically chose this because I know you're doing search, and I'm pretty sure you know, if not, digital display ads drive your search traffic. So that's going to be important for you. So because they might not click, say for instance, on the ad right away, but they will go maybe once they get home they can or either get to work, they might go into the search and look up Mike's Painting. Oh, what was that ad I saw? Mike's Painting and Home Improvement. So that's going to drive your search traffic. And what I would recommend also is adding us on as a vendor for your Google Analytics. And we can't do anything with the information. It's great for us to make proactive recommendations. We can go in and see what trends are going on with the customers, what clients are doing when they go to your site, and then we can make honest recommendations based on that information. So what we're going to do with the AJC.com, we're going to target consumers in the northwest and north side zones, and these areas cover the Sminings, Smyrna, Vinings, Marietta, etc. Those are the key areas that you highlighted with me.
And do you do this based on IP address, or what's the criteria that you get to the geo targeting?
Right. We're going to look at the IP addresses, where the IP address is located, say for instance searches that are done. We have a partnership through Yahoo, so we're using Yahoo technology with that, so we'll be able to, say for instance, if somebody wants to see the weather, like weather searches in Marietta, we pull that information and we can derive it from there.
Okay.
So we're going to make sure we hit in those guys. Anybody who's visiting the AJC.com, living in those key areas, will be delivered one of your ads. They click on the ads and it drives the traffic back to your website.
So this could be anywhere on the site?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But it's going to target it's going to be anywhere on the site. But say for instance, I'm living in the Marietta area, and I go to sports, go directly to sports. I fit that criteria, so I'll be delivered one of your ads.
Yeah. 250,000 impressions.
Yes, ma'am.
From what I don't do a lot of display, so forgive me if I ask some questions that are, but 250,000. On one hand, it sounds like a lot, but then when I go back and think about some of the stuff you were talking about when we met about how many people come to your website, it doesn't seem like that many. So I'm a little concerned that you're really going to be able to. That enough people are going to see it, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right. Well, we can certainly go up and increase your impressions, but I thought 250, because we're targeting a small demographic or location. I figured that would be enough just to start off with my experience that I've had previously with other clients. But we certainly can increase the impression level. Did you have a number that?
I don't know. I think what might help me with that is, do you have any way of knowing, like on an average, of how many people that fall into this geo come to your site on a monthly basis, so we can kind of see what percentage that is?
How many people comes to
from these geos? So I mean, 250. Like I said, on one, I'm kind of having dueling things in my head now, because 250 sounds like a lot, but then when I look at the other numbers that you gave me for your overall site, it doesn't look like a lot. So I'd really like to understand a little bit more about how many people are actually there. Does that make sense?
Right, it makes sense. Well, I don't have that information with me today, but I can get that information for you. But think about how, with 250,000, how are you set up on the other end on your website to receive that traffic? Say, for instance, if you got 250 of those leads to come in, who's on the other end that will be able to take care of those leads when they come in?
I would probably have the leads, I would probably have them routed to our quote page, where they can fill out a request for a quote. and then it would go through our regular process
Okay.
to do that. So we have in-house people who not only answer our phone but monitor the website, and then they will call and do like a preliminary conversation with them to see if they really are qualified, if they're really interested, if they really have a job that's big enough for us to do. If somebody's looking to paint a hallway,
Right. Not so much.
is that necessarily where we want to spend our time, or, would we maybe recommend somebody else for them to do that?
Gotcha.
So they do some pre-qualification for us before it actually goes out to either Mike, or we actually have 3 other managers that can also do quotes. So
Okay.
between the 4 of them, after that qualification stage, what we usually see is, if we're really lucky, then you're looking at, we can usually convert 40 to 45%.
Okay.
So, because we do get a lot of people who are just looking, they're not even ready to start yet. They're just
right.
wanting to get a ballpark,
Figure.
which our initial people can give them,
Gotcha.
a basic ballpark.
Right. Okay. So I'll get that information for you. We'll dig a little deeper on that. And I
Okay.
apologize for not having it now. But you have any other questions? Do you see how that would be important to you or helpful to your business? I know you're concerned with the number part, but do you see the concept of where we were going with that?
I get the concept of backing up the search with display. Yes, that makes perfect sense. I'm just a little concerned about this and making sure that we're really getting our cost per lead program, because that's really what it boils down to is, when we're going to spend money, how many leads is it going to bring us in, the quality of those leads. If by doing this, then I could jump from being able to convert 40 to 45%, if I could jump to be able to convert 50 to 55%, then yeah, it could be really worth it. But I need to understand a little bit more about that group before I can say thumbs up or thumbs down.
Right, so you want to basically know how many people that come.
Yeah, and as long as you're doing that, if you can get me, if you've got any kind of demographic information on it, what they look like.
All right, and I think I might have some information here that could help us out. Yep, this is,
Okay.
it kind of goes into a little detail, gives you, well, it doesn't go in, it gives you a little of the DMA
little
of the
bit of
zone.
it, yeah.
Right, and then
The
what they're
residents.
doing. So it does
Okay.
give you a little insight, but I can go back and dig a little deeper on that for you.
Median household income, homeowner 75%, that's
So,
good,
yeah.
yeah. What would really be good on this, if you could add to that for me, would be if you have average age of house in there. Because, we're usually looking at people who are, houses that are 10 years or older.
Right, okay,
So, yeah, this actually does give me some of the information that I need.
gotcha, okay.
But, yeah, and if you could get me this for all of the zones that you're recommending, that would be good.
All right, sure will. All right, and just to recap on that, so you do see the benefit in that.
Yeah, I do see the
Okay.
benefit. I just need to understand the audience a little bit more to see if that's someplace that we're willing to invest in right now.
Okay, all right, that's fair. All right, and then my second recommendation was the Sunday living zone.
Mm-hmm.
And here again, it's going to be broken down, and we're going to reach only the homeowners in your target area.
Okay.
So we're going to take that audience, zero in on the specific northwest and north side zones, where Smyrna, Marietta, and Vinings, and just we're going to run a quarter-page ad in those zones there.
Okay.
Do you have any questions about that?
Do you have anything that shows me, this is it on the next page
Right,
where
right.
the maps are? So with this, you're able to get me only into Smyrna, Vinings, and Marietta? Because from what I'm looking at here, it looks like part of Marietta is green, part of it's orange, and Smyrna's, well, I can't really tell if Smyrna's orange or if it's yellow on
Yep.
this slide.
And I think, let's see. Yep, here's a map here. you're gonna get those areas are included, but you're gonna get the areas that, the other areas as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you're gonna get your key areas, Smyrna, Marietta, but you're gonna include the areas of West Cobb, Ackworth, Canton, and Woodstock.
Okay. All right, well, tell me about what else you've got on
Okay.
here. I'm not.
You're not sold on that one?
Yeah, I'm not.
What concerns?
The fact that it's such a, they're still kind of broad,
Right.
big markets. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to think. Yeah. I'm gonna
Is
have
it
to-
too broad for you?
I'm a little concerned that it might be. Yeah, I was really interested when you said that you could really pinpoint on my zip codes and my areas. That was one of the things that I was really interested in from our talk the other day.
Okay, well, I do have another option here. The print and deliver, we're gonna deliver a single sheet flyer targeted to the households at least 10 years old in those select zip codes. And the reason I did that, and I know it was, I didn't do household income because I thought that would cut out a lot of your prospects. I thought that the age of the home would be a good target.
Yeah, I mean, age of home is pretty good, but you do have to be careful with that because, you know, unfortunately there are some areas and some pockets of town that have much older homes in them that people they don't have the income to be able to fix them up.
Right.
So, you know, home ownership would probably, or years age would probably be the number one criteria. But if we could actually look at layering in on the, you know, the dollar value, that would be a big plus too.
The value of the home.
The income of the family.
Okay, income.
Yeah.
And that was 100,000 plus?
Okay. And I would be okay if you feel like the 100,000 plus would get us too narrow of a market. I'd be okay dropping it back to 75 if that would help.
Okay.
But you know, it's unfortunate that there are places, there's still pockets that there's some pretty old homes that people they don't have the money
Right.
to do this.
Totally understand.
So is this, it says quarterly here.
I was thinking, the idea behind the quarterly was we would go once, I think it was gonna be, four times a year. We're gonna hit, spring and summer are probably the two biggest seasons for the home improvement. And that'll give you those two, and then we get, I think, towards the end of the year, when the home improvement projects are slowing down a little bit, it gives you some flexibility on that as well. Were you thinking of going maybe monthly or?
Well, let me ask you a question. For with your experience,
Yes, ma'am.
with these single sheet flyers, you know, one of the things I don't necessarily like about my battle pack is I really have to go. I have to give some kind of a deal with it, and
Yes.
you know,
You want to sell the value.
Right, I want to sell the value. So do the flyers, because you know, when I think of flyers and I think of inserts in the newspaper, I think of the coupons that are there. So do the flyers in the newspaper, can you do more of an educational piece and still pull response? Or does it really have to be like a price point thing to really drive home the?
Yeah, I think it's all about, my experience has told me that it's all about the creative. Whatever your creative, whatever you want that to speak to. Say, for instance, if you want to show people, hey, some pointers on painting or prepping their house for paint, or giving them some educational information. I think that I've seen that work as well as far I've seen that work as well as giving a 50% off of this painting job or this flooring job. So
Yeah.
it all depends, and I've seen it work in both areas.
Okay.
So you want to stay away from the deals. You wouldn't want to highlight any of that
I prefer not to discount our services if we can. I don't like to use that to draw people in to have the conversation.
Mhm.
Now, a lot of times once Mike is in there and we find out we're doing more things, and he'll go in like a volume discount
Okay.
kind of thing, and we'll do that more on a, on a case-by-case basis,
Mhm.
looking at it,
Mhm.
than, but, when I run in Valpak and I run, 25% off painting, or paint 2 rooms, get the 3rd one free, then I find that I get a lot of calls that we can't convert, which
Okay.
ends up driving up my cost per lead, because it's people that are looking for the really cheap, come in, slap a couple coats of paint on my wall and be gone in a day and charge me $500.
Right,
And
right.
that's not who we are.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah, I definitely would be interested. Do you have anything in here that shows where the areas were that you were looking at for the?
No, ma'am, I didn't include those.
Okay.
Because we were going still to those select
Zip codes?
Right.
Okay,
That meet your criteria.
all right. I mean, I really like that price. I like that price. And so that price is for 50,000 pieces, right?
Yes, ma'am. I was able to work on that with our direct marketing manager, and we were able to get you a good introductory rate.
Okay. So.
Well, based on the overall.
Based on
buy.
the overall buy?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm not feeling the print.
Okay.
Just simply because I really need that pinpoint. And that was one of the things that I liked when we met last week, that you could really get that in. So I like that. Tell me a little bit more about this last one on here that you've got,
Well,
this commercial
the commercial
print.
print, and I know I didn't do, we didn't spend much time on it last week, but I thought this would be a good opportunity. I know you said you did a lot of home shows, and I just wanted to add that in as like a little extra product that we could do. We have
Okay.
our own commercial printing press, so we will be, we can take your flyers and say, for instance, if you have 4 or 5 home shows for the year, we can take those, and because we have our own printer in-house, we can print those up in volume and get you a volume discount on those, so you like
okay.
gang print those, where we can have those stored up for your events for the year.
Okay, so if I was to do some commercial print, does that give me any kind of discount on anything else, or how does that work?
Well, it looks like I'm gonna have to go back and rework some things. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, once I find out like the number, like based on your quantities here, give me a number that we're shooting for the year, or how many events you have, and we can base those numbers on that. Then I can redo everything and then come back out.
Okay. All right, I would have to, I need to do a little bit of research on how many more home shows we have.
Okay.
I think we have 4 additional events in the fall. We don't really do any during the summer.
Okay.
But I want to confirm that, because I can't, there's one that I'm not 100% sure we committed to yet.
Okay.
So it could possibly be 5. So, and we could easily need 50 to 100,000 pieces per show.
Okay.
So, that could really add up, and if that could help me.
Okay.
So.
All right, so just to recap, the AJC.com, well, the overall package, the only thing that you really are hesitant about or have concerns with is the newspaper, because it doesn't pinpoint the specific areas. You think are you getting too much of the
Yeah,
other?
I'm afraid that we're covering too much area with that. And it's not necessary. I mean, when I look at your zones, if I do like the MDJ, then I can get all of Cobb County, where I have to do 2 zones for yours, plus all this other area that I'm just not sure is going to give me the market that I'm really looking for.
Right, and you also, I think with every business, you have room to grow,
Mhm.
and you might be able to pull some, you have to look at it in terms of how, would I be able to capture a new audience that maybe I haven't looked at before, you haven't thought about capturing those guys outside your target market as well.
Mhm.
So I think you're still gonna hit with the zones, you're gonna hit your, cover your target market, but you're also gonna get those extra or those new prospects that you might have never thought about before.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, but I'm just not convinced that, you know, what a quarter page ad is going to, twice a month is gonna be able to give me enough room and that to go after that market.
Right, okay. So let me ask you this, you said enough room, so would it be, are you, when you're advertising now in print, is that more you're advertising your services, or hey, Mike's painting and home improvement? What?
It's generally a half page, and then Mike also will, occasionally with the MDJ, he does like an Ask the Expert thing where they'll have questions that come in, and then he responds to the questions. And that's, when we do that, that's usually in a quarter page format, and it's like dirt cheap for it because it's like a service to their readers.
And then another thing I'll just highlight is just that audience. We have that qualified, affluent, educated audience that you're going to want. And like I said, I hear what you're saying, but I still think it's an opportunity for us. I just have to figure out how we could, how I can rework this. But I think it's an opportunity for you to gain some new customers.
Okay.
In there.
Okay.
So, well, I think I have more homework to work on. Let's see. So I'm going to get you, we're going to get a little more information on the ajc.com as far as the specific demos. Do a little more research to get for the Sunday living, the print and deliver. Were you okay with that, or?
I like the print and deliver. I actually want to do it. If I do it, I would do it more frequently than quarterly, at least monthly.
Okay.
So, you know, the pieces might increase with that.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
We'd really need to look into that, and I can do some work on my end and see, you know, specifically which zip codes we're pulling from the most.
Okay.
To look at with that.
All right. So I have my homework assignment, and I think you have one. You're going to get some information for me as far as your the home shows,
right?
And the number of pieces that you might need for those.
Okay.
All right. Well, are you taking off for Memorial Day?
I'm just taking a couple of days.
A couple of days off?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going out of town, or?
No, I'm just gonna hide out at home and not answer the phone.
Right. Sounds good. Well, I'll get to work on this, and I apologize I didn't have everything completely the way that I would have wanted it today, but I'm going to go back and work on this for you, and I can have something for you maybe next week.
Okay, that'd
if
be
you're
fine.
available.
That'd be great.
How about next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday will be fine.
All right.
Yep.
All right, thanks.
Thanks. How do you feel?